everyone, and welcome to Inside the Box. Inside the Box is a new segment that we're doing in conjunction with the Wolf and Dulci Hour on TMOA Radio, Monday nights, 10 Eastern. The purpose of the segment is to take a look and review some content, specifically iclone content, obviously, as the nature of our show is iclone related and driven that way. So recently, Reallusion has put forward a elite developer content scenario within their content store, and we're going to actually kind of break it down on a week by week basis and take a look at some of that content and give you our kind of thoughts and feedback on it. And depending on the level of complexity of the actual development and the props or projects and characters, we'll determine whether we need obviously 1 or 2 weeks to follow up on the developer itself. So this week we're actually starting with Decksoft. Decksoft is primarily a prop game maker, and we're going to jump right into the subject matter. So we're going to be dealing with their fantasy pack, the fantasy pack from being offered currently on Reallusion store. And if we go and take a look at the content store itself, we'll be able to take a look and see where you can find that information. Go through the Elite League collection, and right now, as you see, the current featured developer is Decksoft Games, and we're actually going to take a look at the fantasy building elements. So this pack right here that comes in with a substantial prop set for you. As you can see, there's a medieval slum, desert oasis, medieval interiors, dungeon pack, and an adventure village. And using this show, we're going to, this segment itself, kind of break it down and literally go inside the box so that people can get a sense of what's actually in the package itself, other than just kind of taking a look at the site. So that way you can kind of get a feel for the whole kit. So let's jump at it without further ado. I've pulled off the most of the prop sets themselves, as you'll see here, and the adventure village. They've got it broken down between different building elements. As you can see here, it's kind of set up as a really build your own anything sort of structure, which is a very handy way to do it for a lot of people, so that you can have different creativity. You can look at some of the different props that are in here: cellar entrance, chimneys, a whole bunch of different options for them. Same thing with doors, different door options, some building support properties, and then you have some different actual house types: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different house types, six different house types, plus some additional extensions that can be added on, and then obviously some additional parts and platforms that you can utilize. Windows. So all of these things, as you can see, would be utilized to make your own sort of a prop or building style. I'll do it right now by just kind of loading one up so we can kind of get a sense for exactly what it looks like on the stage. You can take a look here and see you've got basically a blank canvas that you can then work with, and if you wanted to add any additional kind of features to it to enhance the model by taking some of those products and changing it into whatever you want. Like I said, you can be pretty creative with it. So it's pretty handy from that standpoint when we're looking at what's inside this box, so to speak, with the actual adventure village on it. You can play around with it and then obviously save your props once you're done with it. And satisfied with your building. You can do it, then save it as an actual new prop for use later at another time. So that's one of the actual benefits of the prop pack. One of the items we'll look at as well is the props themselves. A really good content from a standpoint of real-time animation. Dexsoft is primarily they develop content for game engines for use in gaming, and obviously with iclone being a real-time animation software, they migrate quite well into iclone itself. And you'll see over here on the side the poly count of the models themselves is fairly good. We've got a low poly counts for the vast majority of the props. I've scanned through the actual props themselves and looked at the various different ones. We also have some good texturing, so that you have a good level of texture, but it is optimized for gaming. So you can load, the props will load fairly well, and you can have a great deal of them in a scene for yourself without having to worry too much about system drain and system resources. One thing that I'd like to see maybe in future enhancements of it is the possibility of, and they've included it with some of their prop sets and some of the individual props, they have a more complete material selection, i.e. primarily the bump section, and some do not. Like in this particular case, this house model, we can see the base texture of the brick, and if we wanted to make that pop, obviously a bump map would be useful. I guess I can a real quick and dirty mechanism for making the bump maps, even if you don't have an actual map maker that will do different materials for you, is just take the actual diffuse itself, launch it into your editor, and the only reason we're doing that is so that we can save the actual image. I'm going to just save this as, we'll call it Dexsoft Bump 1. Again, just as a fairly quick mechanism for you that you want to actually, if you want to apply your own bump maps to the actual prop, even if it doesn't have one. So then we just go back to our bump, and we're just going to load up that bump map that we just created. All we're doing is actually using the original bump map itself, and with it, you see that we will have now a little bit of a difference of appearance between with the bump map and without the bump map. So just to bring out the different levels, and you can do the same thing with the blend map if you want. You can make that a little bit darker and brighter, or use different blends themselves, but you can do the same thing with loading up the actual bump map that you just saved, the texture map, into the blend channel, and adjusting contrast, pitch, and whatnot to give it a bit of a starker look, more contrast in the actual brick to make it pop more. So again, they have on some of their prop sets, they actually have the built-in bump. I noticed that with the floors, the floor sections, as you'll see here, they do have a bump in the normal map format, and these are all tileables in their prop set within the Adventure Village. So we've gone through the building components. Like I said, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chimneys, 6 chimneys, 3 different doors, additional beams. You've got 7 buildings, and you've got drain sets, staircases, benches, that sort of stuff that you can work, different stone platforms and walls. And then of course we've got some windows, and several different windows. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 windows. And within this pack as well comes street props. So you've got, as you can see here, a barrel. You've got your floor pieces, different crates. This is basically clutter that you can use to create your scenes. Some nice plants. The plants themselves are decent structure as well. Low poly, but have good for space filler. Again, perfect for a real-time kind of scenario. We've got poster billboards and shop signs, posts, all things that you can readily bring into a scene and create your own set to utilize. And I'll obviously, as later on in the video, I'll have some full renders of the actual prop set itself that we'll put together, so that way you can kind of see it in iClone itself. So that's the Adventure Village. The other within the package itself is that comes in the actual kit is the Dungeon Creation prop set, which is also quite handy. Done very similar fashion. You've got several different floor pieces that you can mix and match, interchange with the obviously with each other, or on different levels if you wanted to create a different levels of the actual game itself, or sorry, your scene itself. And from it we can then build up and utilize a new or create really our own dungeon from the ground up. So with all the different component pieces, I'll scroll down, you can see all the different building blocks in essence that you can really kind of utilize to work around and build your own full-scale dungeon in whatever capacity you want. And you can be extremely creative, which is again an excellent way to be able to put together a set for yourself without being limited to one version. So you can utilize the fabrication technique for this for any number of dungeons. So with a little bit of patience, you can do all that sort of thing. You'll notice here again we do have the bump maps in this particular set, which is great. Again, it helps the bricks and kicks them out for those types of props. And the same thing with the texturing. You can vary, even if you don't have an actual editor, you can obviously do some different things to get some different feels or looks to the actual texture maps themselves. So all the building elements that you need to create an actual dungeon are clearly in the pack. It's there's nothing really that jumps out as or for me as missing. They have full complete staircases. Again, several different gate options. We've got complete rooms that you can utilize and throw into your scene. And at that point in time, you'll see here, so it's already prefabricated for you. And then you can add all the different types of hallway pieces. There's floors, hallways, walls, several different staircases as well that they do have. You'll look here, they have different levels that you can actually create prefab staircases themselves. That is actually very handy. That you can use for again creating whatever you desire. You can see how you'd be able to build whole entire levels or an whole even interior of a whole castle when you think about it, as opposed to not just doing a dungeon. So a lot of good utilization from that particular pack itself. And then filler props as well. You can see here we've got some arches, just regular things that you might find kicking around in a dungeon, a barrel, some stray boards and bricks, obviously crates, and then there's other parts like different things that you can utilize in the actual rooms themselves, crypt type stuff, beds, blankets, different items here that you can see that can give you a nice good solid look when you build out your entire set. One of the things that I've done with them, as opposed to just saving a project file once complete, once I've assembled an actual set with it, is obviously utilizing the attach function for the different props, and that way saving them onto one master, so that way you can create and resave an individual prop for yourself. So in this case, if we were using attaching the blanket and I had a masterpiece or master set piece object, that I would complete or attach it to, and then eventually you could save the whole connected set, because it does take some time to put all the pieces together, as you can imagine, depending on the complexity of the set that you want to build. So the dungeon kit, very, very comprehensive. Again, scrolling through, you can see all the different props that you can populate a scene with, and obviously all of the building elements to create your own full-scale dungeon or castle interior that is very, very comprehensive, and really the sky's the limit for you. So pack's really well put together for this one. Really good, a lot of good uses for it. The next pack is similar to the Dungeon Creation, which is the Medieval Interiors. Very much the same sort of structure. You have, let me just get a blank stage up here for us. We have a lot of this, the same building capability. They have the different prop pieces, corridors, door frames, and you can see that these are typically done as stucco type of interior shots versus the brick. And you'll see here as well, they do have the bump map on these particular ones, which again just helps from a standpoint of a visual appearance. But we have all types of different corridor connecting pieces that you can utilize, and obviously if you're moving around the set, you can snap them into any location that you want, any configuration that you want, which is quite handy. And they also do the different corridor doors, as we can see here, and gates, and full complete rooms. So the rooms themselves, when you're building again your own set piece, they're fully textured. So if you're going to go inside one, this one itself is a layered room, already prefabricated, as you can see. If you're doing a fly through on something like that, where you're going into the actual building itself, which would is pretty handy from a standpoint of having some continuity in your set, if you want to have those types of shots in it. So again, a nice way, you can get a good look at it like from that standpoint. A nice way to put the different things together. And again, really, you're only limited by your own imagination as far as the types of configurations that you could do. You could do full entire levels, or even, like I say, just pull out one of these rooms for a shot. So very, very well done. Again, I like personally the compartmentalized aspect of it. Some people don't. Some people may critique and say, well, there should be a full piece already assembled, but really that kind of defeats the purpose, in my opinion, of a pack like this, to leave the creativity to the content and maximize its usage. You know, I don't want to be stuck with one person's vision of what my interior is going to look like, or what my my dungeon or castle is going to look like, or my town or setup. So to me, it's one of those things that I guess it's in the eye of the beholder, so to speak, as to how you would prefer it. But to me, having all the different elements is much more preferable than having everything pre-populated into a specific location that then I can't change. And here's additional props in the medieval interiors, things that you would find in the household: baskets, benches, carpet, chairs, chests, chimneys, wood, lamps, obviously, a bed, some different lamps, mugs, wall art. So things that you can populate into a scene. And again, everything that we have in them is fairly low poly, but a decent quality for a real-time animation setup, and good texturing for on the props themselves when you're looking at it, and they round out a scene quite nicely. The fourth of the actual medieval parts is a building very similar to the Adventure Village, in that it has the same type of theme, except for being a medieval slum, it's more of the derelict type buildings. So buildings that are a little more run down looking in appearance. But these ones have, very good setup. These ones you don't have to stick the windows and doors on. They come prefabbed on it. If you're expecting the windows or doors to open, that's not going to happen. Those are they're part of the mesh or the model itself. But do have a bunch of different attachments that, again, same thing, you can build out literally kind of as creative as you want to be with putting together your set pieces. And again, props, more derelict props, trash heaps, that sort of thing that again are useful in having into any scene, clutter, that sort of stuff, so that it doesn't look sterile from a filming sort of uh, scenario. When you're doing your shots up, you can fill with background clutter itself. They've even put together a clothesline here, which is kind of a nice little novelty. Could change it out with an opacity map that you see over here to, if you want to do different clothes or whatnot, that you could really do on your own. But really, what the strength, in my opinion, of the pack as a whole, we were looking at the actual fantasy building elements, is as opposed to on an individual basis, which you can purchase these packs on an individual basis, as you see here. Each kit retails for around $30. So as you'll see, it's basically $150 if you're looking at picking up the whole kit. To me, from a standpoint of having it as a complete kit, and it seems to be on sale right now, as opposed to purchasing on an individual basis, at $20 a kit for each of these, if you buy all five, that's a pretty good value. When I look at what's included inside the packaging and having all the different prop sets, and that's really the strength to me. Looking at it and having the ability to take from the existing pack sets and do different combinations of utilizing the buildings and a bit from both. You can create your own look, you can create your own town, and build it all out together. So the last one, and I just separated it out this way, is just because it's slightly different. It still goes rolled under the fantasy type of elements, but is the Desert Oasis pack. And that is more of a Middle Eastern feel, but still constructed in very much the same way when we're looking at the different building elements. A lot of nice looks to the actual property itself. You'll see when we have here, a wonderful kind of building structure, desert type building, but good architecture in it as a whole. There are bump maps on the actual texture, a lot of them as well. But really nice architecture in this particular pack. This pack is, for me, is actually the buildings that are in it are actually my favorite out of all the packs. They just have that really good, strong, good look to them, and the same type of scenario that you've had with the other packs. These ones are a little more complex from a model perspective, and as a result, you notice that their polys are a little bit higher, but they just the buildings themselves just kind of are really well put together in my opinion, from the standpoint of visually appealing. So you have your base building models, and they've added a few other, if you want to add some windows on, same type of thing that you can put together in combination with some of the other sets. And of course, same scenario, we've got some props that you might find, stacked wood, ladders, these types of crock pots, background filler pieces basically that can round it out. But again, when you start looking at having the different options, and with some texture changes, being able to create a that kind of desert palace sort of scenario, or even a town, by utilizing the buildings, and you could very easily add and take some of the medieval slum buildings and combine those into that type of a scenario. When you look at a wooden barn type of an issue, just to assist with your pack building. So overall, a lot of content. We'll be showcasing Dexsoft content probably next week as well. We did plan, as I said, making this a weekly scenario. So we're going to move on to the modern theme pack next week when we pick it up and showcase it. So I hope you found the information useful and warranted. I know for sometimes people want to kind of see what's inside the box before they commit to purchasing anything, and we'll have a dialogue on the content pack on the Wolf and Dulci Hour, which again airs on tmoaradio.com Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll review the content then as well. So have yourselves a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.